Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So a new Link 3 was revealed for Phantom Nightmare, right? So next core set, OCG, should be released, I guess, this week, next week. It has potential. Link 3, as you see with the arrows, left, right, down. It's very easy to make, so it needs like, you know, at least 2 effect monsters. So that's where the Charmers come into play, right? As an easy Link 3 play, so very similar to Celine. The thing is that, what's there? What's the advantage? The thing is that once per turn, when it's face up on the field, you can reborn a fire monster. So, looking at, you know, Fire Kings, looking at Salamangreat, for example, that has potential, okay, that's cool. But the second effect is, I think, much more important. It's, again, like once per turn, during your opponent's turn. Whenever they special summon a monster, when it's in the graveyard, your Link 3, you can special summon it, and then destroy one fire monster on your side of the field, and one, monster I feel from your opponent. So it's basically an interruption as well during their turn. On one condition, the fact that Link needs to be in the graveyard. So 2 options. You could potentially go for a Link summon during your turn. Problem is that as soon as that Link is face up on the field, you can only, special summon fire monsters? I think the only play you can make is go for Sunlight Wolf. That's why Sunlight Wolf is there. So you can't go for upgrade Access Code Talker, for example. But I think it's worth it. If you have the space and you're playing a fire deck, looking at Salamangreat, I don't think you have the space in there. But for Fire Kings, I think there is potential, especially, you know, the interaction with destroying a fire monster, a Fire King on your side of the field, and then basically extra interruption during your opponent's turn. I think it has a place in this deck. And of course, you know, with a Fire King structure deck, I have no clue when it's coming out in its ECG. I think relatively soon, no? Like November, December? I should check that. Again, like, let me know if it's already known. It might not be, but... it's a deck that has potential, but the thing is that it has a lot of weaknesses still, somewhat dependent on the field spell. Sure, the Sinful Spoils engine does help out the deck tremendously, but still, you know, it's very easily countered by maybe a well-timed Ash. So Ash on tanky, that's fine, the deck can still recover, especially with Talents. Talents will obviously draw 2, maybe I could have peeked at the opponent's hand. But trying to makes it so that I can get more, I guess, plays going through, or, you know, the ability to kind of dodge Imperm here was definitely needed, very similar to Vanquish Souls, right, Vanquish Soul, drop Diabolister, Surge, a quick play for, you know, next turn during your opponent's turn, and this is why I like Fire Kings, especially with the structure deck. As soon as you can get the ball rolling, you're probably winning the duel, simply because you have so many effects going on, and you're ranking up the pluses by a lot. And the last time I played with Fire King or showed them in a video was before their new level 1, and the small Chibi Garonix, it does so much. It's actually a ridiculous card, resource-wise. So again, that Link 3 on the field, reborn once per turn during your turn, and, well, I guess priority here is to get it in the graveyard. Again, you have multiple ways to either tribute it for monster negation, tribute it for, you know, your green Garonix, you know which one I mean, or for maybe link it away, I don't know. To get it in the graveyard, and as soon as your opponent special summons a monster, you can destroy one of their monsters, and potentially one of your monsters as well, of course. So I get the ball rolling, you know, Droll in the main deck, it's superb against most decks. Yes, Vanadium its game, sadly wasn't able to draw Droll unlock, but that's the case, right? You can't really search it at a consistent level. So this was an okay duel. The fact that, or the thing is that with Vanadium is that it can play through hand traps quite easily, because the deck is playing so many extenders. It's kind of scary if you don't have Droll against that deck. So, established my board. This is also a deck list very similar to, you know, an OCG list. At least the OCG lists that I've seen are quite similar with the ratios. The Monster Negator being a 3-off because of this, right? You can almost summon it to potentially give yourself more protection against something like Nibiru or even Ash, right? So get out the Spell and Trap Negator. Big Garonix, the new one. I'm not running the OG Garonix anymore. I'm not so sure if you really need it. Sometimes it's kind of awkward to special summon it during your opponent's turn, during their standby phase. I'm not so sure if it's really needed. None of the OCG lists that I saw were running it, and I kind of agree to some extent. There might be some situations where, yeah, when you like go for Garonix, the new one, and destroy Baron from the deck, the one-off in the deck, and then afterwards you're sometimes thinking, oh, imagine if I have something else. Then maybe the old school OG Garonix could be sent to the graveyard, I guess. This was an okay match against a deck with so many floaters. It feels so unfair, right? The fact that Unchained has so much resources at its disposal feels kind of unfair. You'll see it in this duel. And I believe, and that's of course one of the bigger weaknesses, I wasn't able to draw the continuous spell, or search it, not so sure. So now the thing here is that imagine if I had that continuous spell, the game would have been probably a bit different, would have been able to go for the Exceed, right, blow up the entire field, monsters. But now you can, at least your opponent can just freely pop your Fire King Island, and that would not have been the case with your continuous spell, right, protection. So that's a bummer, the fact that your opponent could quite easily destroy your Fire King Island and then blow away or pop your entire board. That's a small downside. So discard, I could have maybe played a little bit differently. Maybe destroy, what was the play? Destroy my Drona Longbird first, or go for the Garonix first? Yeah, anyway. So the problem here is that there are so many interruptions. I got rid of the Unchained one, of the Unchained Soul, that gives my opponent a quick play, Link Summon, and the thing in here is that the reasons why I might contemplate on adding in Droplet is because of this. A potential field of the Link 2, potentially Quick Link during my turn, that is, the King Caesar that negates monster effects, and that was just far too much. So go for, what is it, Star Slayer, I believe the name is? Yeah, TCG name, which was decent, but I guess the decent play. Thing is that again, the deck it has still so much potential. The Link 2, at least another copy of the Link 2 is there. Even though I keep recycling level 1, the level 4. The thing is, I think I ran out of resources, if I'm not mistaken, and that they can still keep pumping out those extra deck monsters. The Link 4 hits the field, and the funny thing here is that I mean, just attack here and then it's game, right? But no, you have to you want to destroy the field spell, and that kind of keeps me in the duel. But as I mentioned before, I'm pretty much out of resources, and the thing here is that I could have maybe kept both level 8s on field and kind of hope that, I mean, you're not going to special summon, right? Obviously. So again, Unchained has just too many resources, and my next turn is, even though I can somewhat kind of force a small comeback, there are hardly any resources left. So Muckracker protects the Unchained Soul, drop the level 1 for another spell search, but I think this was basically my last search, and this is obviously a good play. You go for the Link 3, the problem here is that the links themselves also float, like why? Custom card design. So yeah, next turn it should be the game. Like, I mean, the game should have been over, right? Like in the previous turn, turn number 4, the Link 1 replenishes itself, it gets itself back to the hand. And yeah, this is finally more than enough. So, I mean, let's face it, this probably should have gone, this shot probably should have been over by turn number 4. So Droll super important. And here my Ash was actually important as well. I think there's a Chimera Fusion set. And yups, negating that Chimera Summon. So drop Diabloster, let's see if there's any more interruption. We now see that there is none, obviously. You go for the level 1, you're kinda cool if your opponent wants to force like Imperm, wants to use Imperm or Veil, and you can drop it. That level 8 from the hand, like very similar to Vanquish Soul to, you know, dodge that Imperm. Again, somewhat of a niche interaction, right? Potentially dodge that Imperm or Econ or stuff like that. Did I think I had game? I'm not so sure. Or was I dodging Nip? Like Nip in this case would have been okay, because again I have Barong, etc. But getting out Link 3 I feel is solid, really solid. Especially the fact that it kind of didn't really cost any resources thanks to the Charmer, and of course basically any deck is running Ash Blossom these days, so you could capitalize on that. But again, notable interruptions. If I want the Link interruption as well, I need to get it in the graveyard. And here, because I still have that level 4 monster negation, I'm indeed going to negate Jester. Yeah, no search, and this should be my duel. Yep, circle, and it's GG. So, Fire King, I'm a huge fan of the deck. I like the deck a lot, and this new Link 3, I see it might have a place in this particular deck. Not for Salamangreat, because the deck just doesn't have the space. But it's an okay Link, not superb, but it's an interesting one. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave them signing out. Peace.